Have you come across a learner who requires assistance due to learning disability or problem, just so he or she can reach his potential? Well, what do you call such a person, or how do you refer to them? Well, in psychology, these are what we call, or these are children we call exceptional students. Exceptional student is a child with one or two of the following. This is a child with either communication disorder, behavioral disorder, emotional disorder, mental retardation, physical disability, impaired vision, difficulty hearing, autism, special ability or talent, and lastly, brain injury. Now, note that before a child is labeled as an exceptional student, there are protocols that need to be in place, especially within the school setting or environment. We don't just wake up to label or tag a child as exceptional child, because doing so or tagging a child as an exceptional child has its own merit and demerit, especially among children with disabilities, as stigma tends to there tends to be stigmatization, which ultimately will hamper on their learning progress.
If you're within the academia, you probably must have heard of dyslexia, dysgraphia, and dyscalculia, as these are primary learning disabilities mostly found in a learning environment. However, though, it is worth noting that ADHD, that's attention deficit hyperactivity disorder, is part of these learning disabilities. Yes. A learning disability is a group of heterogeneous group of disorders that significantly affects a person's ability to read, to spell, to write, to reason properly, and even to some extent his mathematical abilities. Yes, these sets of disorder are said to be intrinsic to the person. Dyslexia is a disorder that affects a person's ability to read properly. Yes, the person is unable to spell or read as he should. Dysgraphia is a disorder that affects a person's handwriting. Ultimately, the person is unable to spell as well. Dyscalculia is a disorder that affects a person's mathematical abilities. A person is unable to make sense out of numbers, and so such a person finds it difficult to understand mathematical concepts. Yes, I would not explain ADHD as I have done a video on it. Yes, now kindly note that in most cases, children who suffer dysgraphia, dyscalculia, are most likely, and even ADHD, are most likely having a dyslexia, as dyslexia is believed, though I've not verified this. Yes, I have come across one or two things. I've come across it in one of the things I have read. Learners with learning disabilities are also special need students. Yes, as these children require special assistance to also scale through their academic progress. Have you come across a learner who is extremely bright, who does not seem to fit into his peers, sometimes isolated, other times bored. Most likely you've come across a gifted child. Gifted and talented students are not individuals who learn quickly with little efforts. No. Rather, gifted students are individuals whose work is original, extremely advanced for their age, and has a lasting importance. Renzoline and Reyes defined giftedness as a combination of 3 basic intelligence traits. These are a child with above average general ability. Secondly, a child with high level of creativity. And last, a child with high level of task commitment or motivation to achieve. Behavioral disorder is also referred to as emotional disorder. Now, a behavior becomes a problem when it deviates greatly from what is appropriate for a child's age group, and that it significantly interferes with the child's own growth and development and that of others. Now, for a behavior also to be referred to as a behavioral disorder or emotional disorder, such behavior needs to be consistent across time and in different situations. A mere response to a stressful event or a difficult situation cannot be referred to as disorder, because the child is responding to a particular situation at that time. Now, here are 5 types of emotional disorder. Attention problem in maturity, psychotic behavior, motor excess, anxiety withdrawal disorder, and last but not the least, conduct disorder. Communication is enabled when there is a medium, which is language, and language becomes possible through speech or speaking. Now, language is a complex learned behavior where thinking and language development are interwoven. And so, when there is a problem in cognitive functioning, this affects the ability to use language. Speaking involves movement, and so any impairment in motor functioning that involves speech can cause what we call language disorder or communication disorder.